Hi everybody, my name is Jessy and thank you for joining me today. So the reason I came here today and I wanted to film this video is because my sister shared with me a sermon that was told by this very popular priest. This video is not about religion, I promise you. However, it is an extract of a sermon that was told by a priest, and I wanted to bring it here today to share with you and take away as much of the religion out of it as possible, because the lesson that he was trying to teach is so powerful and is so different, and I don't ever want to feel like I have excluded a group of people in any way, because that's not how I live my life, that is not how I enjoy living my life, and that is not what I stand for. I always want to make sure that if somebody different comes onto into the conversation, that they feel comfortable enough to be able to be part of it, and that they are welcome to be part of it. Like I said to you, my sister sent me the sermon and I really loved it, because I just thought, wow, that is real life, and it doesn't have to have religious connotations to be able to understand how you can put those beliefs or that mindset into your life without having to suddenly decide that you're going to be religious or you're not. But I'm going to try my best to articulate that with you today, and give you my interpretation of it, hopefully to give you some kind of lesson. So his name, by the way, is Reverend Joseph Fidel A. Rohrer. The title that he introduces us to is "A Real Good Person Fights Back as Well." It then follows with "There's always room for improvement." So far we've been given two lessons. Real good people actually do fight back, and that there's always room for improvement. To me, that's telling me that yes, you can be a good person, but it doesn't mean that you become a doormat. It doesn't mean that everybody can walk all over you and treat you how they want to treat you. You don't have to be a good person and then say nothing. You can be a good person and say something and stick up for yourself. And I think that is really powerful. So he says there's always room for improvement, that in order to improve ourselves and be complete, we have to be shrewd as serpents and simple as doves. Let's be smart, wise, cunning like snakes, and simple like doves. Now, when I say the word snakes, all of the negative connotations come to your head. I don't want to hear that you're saying no, because it's true. My instinct first went, well, we are being encouraged now to act like snakes, when all of our lives we're told to act nice, to be good, to be kind. But here we're being told, well, no, you need to act like a snake. You need to be shrewd like a snake. Actually, sorry, quick break. I want to Google exactly what shrewd means. Having or showing sharp powers of judgment, astute. Sounds good, right? But also we're being taught we should be shrewd like a snake, but simple like a dove. Now, I completely understand what it's like. He's saying he understands being a dove, because a dove, without having to truly explain it, is a symbol of purity, simplicity, meekness, and gentleness. He goes on to say, nevertheless, we don't have to be surprised anymore about why we're being asked to act like snakes, because they behave based on what they need to do to survive. They're not bad. That doesn't make them bad, because is it bad to do what you need to do to survive? So he continues by saying, shrewdness is not a defect but an asset of serpents. So yes, there are some defects and some negativity with snakes, or they have some negative characteristics, but shrewdness, as I had interpreted it before I'd even learned properly what it meant, it's not actually a bad thing. It's actually considered an asset, and that it is an asset that we as humans should try and acquire. There's a passage in the Bible that says the children of this world are shrewder than the children of the light. Now that means that people of this world are said to be a lot more strategic than the people who act all holy. Is this whole idea that if you're shrewd and you are aware of real life, you are a lot more advantaged, and you're in a better place than somebody who only goes based off of their beliefs in God and religion. Reverend Joseph says to us that we should keep one step ahead of anybody who sins, so that we won't be tricked, so we won't be left behind, so we won't be used. So avoid all the negativity. So don't even acknowledge the negativity, just move away from it so we can move forwards. But actually, no, I think that it ends up making us trapped. So we need to be like snakes. We need to be aware of all this negativity, aware of the bad people, aware of the bad things that are happening in this life. It needs to make people uncomfortable, because if we're made uncomfortable, we will do everything we can to make ourselves comfortable again. He then continues to say, it is not bad to give. So being a giving person and being open and kind is not a bad thing, but sometimes we do have to act a little bit selfishly. You don't have to be a dove all the time. You don't have to be silent all of the time. You have to know when you can speak up. It's not being disagreeing, it's not you being a bad person, it's you standing up for what you believe in and what you believe is right. And that is what I encourage everyone to do. Is if you witness some kind of discrimination or something happening to somebody that is bad, just think about how it would feel if you were in that situation. He continues, is the Lord gentle all of the time? So should you be kind and gentle all of the time? No. There are times when he's also like a lion, in order to help correct somebody who is doing something wrong. So that's when the whole being bold and being outspoken is important. If you feel comfortable enough to be able to say something to someone and call them out on their BS, do that. But at the same time, I'm also aware there are people who don't feel comfortable enough to do that. And in those cases, there's still things you can do. If you witness an injustice or discrimination, report it. But if not, then, and you allow other people to be hurt by this individual or these people, and you say nothing and you don't speak up, then it's almost as bad as being an accomplice to those people doing the bad things. I'm uncomfortable by that because I agree but I disagree. Because I have been in a situation like that before, where basically I was at a bus stop, the buses were late, and I was just desperate to go home because I had such a long day, and I saw a group of boys, I'm going to say boys because I don't believe that men act like this, a group of boys chasing after another one, and one of them tripped them, and they started beating him up. There were only a few of us at the bus stop, but we literally couldn't believe this was happening in the middle of the road, you know, a little bit further away from us, but we could still witness this whole thing. And there were people closer to them that weren't doing anything, and I don't know why, but I just started screaming. You never knew what to do in that situation because you were never put in that situation. It brings me shame. It does make me really sad sometimes if I think about it, but at the same time, I'm hoping that this lesson will remind me of how sometimes it is important to break your personality traits, what you're used to being like, and instead being just powerful and using your voice to actually protect and help somebody. Because when we call them out, that's when people start to say, actually, yeah, you're right, that isn't okay. So he ends his sermon essentially by saying, I hope that you, brothers and sisters, continue being good and kind, but remember that kindness must not lead to stupidity. We must also say no. We must also deny or refuse. We must also say, enough, I can't do it anymore. What you're doing is wrong. There are times when we have to speak up or fight back, even if it means going against even our loved ones. It will be difficult, but we shouldn't be anxious. We should continue to fight. We should continue to work so that we are spreading the good that we want in our lives. We will get the help that we need from other good people. It will be hard in the beginning, but eventually we will be okay. So basically, the layman's terms, or the Cliff Notes version of his sermon, was that yes, you can be a good person by behaving like a good person should, being kind, generous, gentle, and just overall wanting positivity into this world. But also, we can be tough, we can be hard, without being a bad person, as long as we use those qualities, we use those characteristics when it's really important to try and improve a situation, to help somebody else. Be a snake like your life depends on it. Thank you, bye!